Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This book is a captivating tale deeply rooted in the natural world, focusing on the life of Kia Clark, an abandoned young girl who becomes known as the Marsh Girl. Set near the tranquil town of Barkley Cove, North Carolina, the story traverses multiple timelines, interweaving Kia's coming of age with a mysterious death investigation that impacts and threatens her life. The marshes and swamps of North Carolina shape the very essence of Kia's existence. The book opens in 1969 when two local boys discover the lifeless body of Chase Andrews, a popular young man, under an old fire tower. His sudden death rattles the small town, not just because of who Chase was, but because the manner of his death raises questions. Was it an accident or something far more sinister? It's not long before the town zeroes in on the least likely but most talked about resident, Kia, the enigmatic Marsh Girl. But the world into which Kia was born, beginning in 1952, is one of raw isolation and abandonment. At just 6 years old, Kia becomes increasingly accustomed to her family leaving her. One by one, her siblings and finally her mother escape from their home, fleeing from her perpetually drunk and abusive father. Yet Kia remains, tied down by fear and hope, watched over only by the surroundings of the marsh and its wildlife. From a young age, Kia learns to survive on her own. When her father disappears, Kia must fend for herself completely. Despite the hardships, the desolation, and the lack of schooling, the marsh cradles Kia in its delicate balance of life and death, offering sustenance, shelter, and a vast world of knowledge about nature. It is here that Kia learns to read animal tracks, cultivate mussels and boats across the complex and mysterious creeks. The marsh is not her prison, but her sanctuary. Even so, Kia's existence is lonely. Rarely seen in town, she is called Marsh Girl by the children and regarded by villagers with a mixture of scorn and suspicion. The only people who show her kindness are Jumpin, an elderly black man who runs a small store at the wharf, and his wife Mabel. Even as Kia grows older, they continue to help her, exchanging goods for the mussels she collects, offering clothes and shoes, along with approving smiles. For the most part, Kia's contact with society is limited, but she does encounter moments of human connection. When she is still a child, Tate Walker, a thoughtful and kind young boy from the nearby town, notices Kia's silent pain and loneliness. He teaches her to read, sparking a lifelong interest in books and knowledge. Tate is fascinated and impressed by Kia's strong connection to nature and her unquenchable thirst to understand the natural world. They become close, and as they grow, their relationship blossoms into love. However, with her inherent mistrust of people due to her abandonment issues, Kia struggles deeply with letting anyone get too close, and when Tate leaves town to attend college, she is devastated. The wound of abandonment runs deep within her, and her vulnerability only grows. Every part of her aches for connection, yet she fiercely guards herself from further pain. Years flow like the marsh's tides, and Kia, now a young woman, becomes recognized for her remarkable knowledge of the marshlands. Having meticulously documented the local wildlife and flora, she captures the interest of a publishing company. Her works evolve into stunning field guides, filled with her finely detailed illustrations of shells and birds. Her isolation cannot stop her passion for the marsh, and these accomplishments offer her a sense of fulfillment, though the fear of abandonment never truly recedes. It is during this time that Chase Andrews, the handsome town star and a once believed to be golden boy of Barkley Cove, takes an interest in Kia. Chase is known for his many romantic conquests, and despite his engagement to another woman, he pursues Kia. They engage in a brief romance, but while Kia is initially entranced by his charm and the brief passage into the normal world he seems to offer her, she quickly senses ulterior motives. Chase's apparent love turns possessive, his darkness unveiled. Once again, Kia is left reeling, feeling the stinging betrayal by a man who only sought to exploit her vulnerabilities. Two timelines move in parallel in the novel. Scenes of the Chase Andrews case alternate with the detailed story of Kia's life. As the investigation unfolds, the town's murmurings take full flight. There's scandal when rumors surface about Chase's secret relationship with Kia, and soon Kia becomes the prime suspect in his death. Authorities claim that she had motive. Chase left her and was soon to marry another woman. They also point out the suspicious timing of her return to Barkley Cove on the night of his death, even though she was seemingly in Greenville for a publishers' meeting. Kia is arrested and taken into custody, even as she maintains her innocence. A formal trial ensues, threatening Kia's already tenuous connection to society. In the trial, every aspect of Kia's life is thrown into question. Her lack of formal education, her isolation from the broader community, and her strange, peculiar way of being are all scrutinized. The residents of Barkley Cove, many of whom have never looked beyond their prejudices toward her, now hold her life in their hands. Though Kia's defense attorney, Tom Milton, crafts a solid case based on lack of evidence and speculative theories surrounding Chase's accidental fall, the jury's decision feels precarious. Kia's heart races with the fear of an uncertain fate. Would she be condemned to live quite literally behind bars for the rest of her life, far away from the sanctuary of her marsh? Would the few people who loved her be enough to outweigh the town's habitual rejection? After hours of deliberation, the jury delivers their verdict: not guilty. Kia is exonerated, and with that, she is finally free from the scorn of the town. Some residents continue to harbor suspicions, believing she somehow got away with murder, yet there's no evidence to prove it. Others express regret for the way they treated her, realizing she had been a lonely girl seeking only acceptance. With the trial behind her, Kia returns to her marsh and reunites with Tate. Slowly, as they re-establish their connection, Kia allows herself to love without fear. Tate, always patient, always steadfast, never abandoned her heart. Together, they live a peaceful life in the shack she once called home. Their days are filled with the rhythm of the marsh, studying, swimming, exploring, and soaking in the beauty of the natural world. Together, they make collections of the marsh flora and fauna, embarking on an unspoken mission of rediscovery. As twilight nears the end of Kia's life, she reflects on the marsh's gifts, the freedom it has always granted her, the safety its isolation has provided. Nature, in all of its cycles of life and death, continues its steady pulse. One day, while out on the marsh, Kia passes away peacefully in her boat, as though returning into the bosom of the secluded shores. It isn't until after her death that Tate finds a shocking discovery in Kia's belongings. Hidden away in her cabin is an old box containing the one item everyone had presumed lost, the necklace that Chase had been wearing the night of his death. A swirl of conflicting emotions churns within Tate as he realizes the truth. Kia had, in fact, killed Chase. In a fit of survival instinct, a deep-seated reaction to yet another betrayal by a man who sought to control her, Kia had lured Chase to the fire tower, confronted him, and pushed him to his death. The necklace, long thought to be missing, had remained hidden with Kia all those years. Tate contemplates what to do with this knowledge. Ultimately, he burns the evidence of her poetry, which reflected her intentions, keeping her secret safe forever. He recognizes what Kia faced, an unrelenting world that had left her vulnerable to its worst impulses. Kia's actions were motivated not by malice, but by a steely will to survive. In death, Kia finally found the peace she so seldom had in life. The marsh, ever-changing and eternal, welcomed her back like an old friend. The town's folklore transformed her from the lonely Marsh Girl into a lasting legend, with whispers carrying through the wind where the Crawdads once sang. If you enjoyed this book breakdown, please consider liking this video and subscribing to get notified when we post our next book.